So back when I was 19, I locked myself away in a dungeon. It had no windows, it was dark, it was cold, there was no central heating, and by the time I came out of it, I was so socially awkward, I couldn't even look at someone in the eye and say hello. My mind had convinced itself that nobody wanted to speak to me, and I convinced myself that if I do go up to someone and say, "Hi, how are you?" they're going to be thinking, "Who's this weirdo?" And that might sound crazy to you, if you've got very good social skills, but if you've got poor social skills, I know that you're familiar with the feeling. So ever since then, I took it upon myself to add my social skills back into my self-development journey, and I really honed in on these, and I think it's one of my most important skills right now, so I'm very happy with the progress. But just to let you know, this is Theo 4.0 that you are seeing in front of you today. I naturally had good social skills at school, but I had an issue. I used to talk to everybody like they were my best friend. And the way you talk to your best friend isn't how you should be talking to everyone. Because you can end up offending people, yeah? Not everybody's got the same banter as you. So you've got to be able to target your message. So I went from having good social skills, locking myself away and really having to think about it, having terrible social skills, and then coming out of that and then actually making it into one of my biggest strengths. And I've been on one of the biggest businesses podcasts in the UK, CEO Cast. I've done other podcasts and now I do content, and I've got very good social skills. It's not as far away as you think, but the point of this video is talking in a way that makes people want to listen. So there's a massive difference between people hearing you and people actually wanting to listen to you. So the thing is, through my life, everybody's heard my opinion, right? Whether you take that as good or bad, everybody's heard my opinion. But you can't just shout at people. I'm not saying I used to do that, but if you went around shouting at people, everybody's going to hear you, but they're not going to listen to you. But to get people to actually listen, you've got to change your communication style to make them want to listen to you. So how do you do this? Well, number one is nothing to do with talking about yourself. It's showing interest in others. Now, the main reason people will listen to you is when you are showing interest in them. If you're the type of guy to just talk about yourself all the time, which was me, okay? I used to just work all the time, and I was trying to get rich. I was always thinking about business, and I was always working on my business. I used to live in this circle of myself, trying to constantly improve myself. Now that sounds great, and it sounds fully motivated, but what you don't understand when you do that is you're selfish. You're only talking about yourself, and people don't care about you as much as you care about you. And it took me a very long time to understand that. I didn't realize that's what I was doing. You've got to show interest in others more than you talk about yourself. I wouldn't even go into a conversation or try to talk to people about yourself unless they ask. The fact is, if you go into a conversation with somebody and you ask them about themselves and show so much interest in them, they will walk away thinking you're a very interesting person, but you've never even shared anything about yourself. So this is rule number one. I picked this up out of a book called How to Win Friends and Influence People. Self-Development 101, but there's a reason why everybody reads it. It's because it's the best book out there for communication skills. So show interest in others. Ask people about their job, business, family. Find information out about them and show genuine interest. Ask how's it going. Remember stuff that they've done. But when you start showing interest in other people, when it comes your time to speak, they're going to be more inclined to listen because they enjoy talking to you. You'd be shocked at how many people don't even get asked about what they're up to. So when you're asking them and showing interest in them, people are going to want to listen to you so much more. Number two is passion and knowledge. If you want to talk in a way that people want to listen, well, you've got to be passionate, right? And when I'm saying passionate, I'm not talking about just passion when you're speaking, but I'm talking about your body language, how you carry yourself, and how much knowledge that you have in a subject. So I had a friend, let's call him Jack, okay? Now, what Jack used to do was, he didn't have much knowledge in subjects, but he'd talk about them anyway to try people please. So if people were talking about a subject, regardless of whether he knew anything about it, agreed or not, he would add to the subject and just agree with what people are saying. Now, people know when you're doing this. Nobody likes a people pleaser. You're better off standing on your own opinions. And the reason why I say passion and knowledge is because if you have enough knowledge on a subject, you will be able to talk passionately about it. If you're struggling to talk about something, let's say you're starting a YouTube channel or you're talking to a group of people, if you do not know about the subject, then you're going to struggle talking in a way that makes it interesting enough to where people want to listen. And it's not an issue if you've not got the knowledge. You can still be passionate, but you're just passionate about learning. So this is another point. Be passionate about learning and be passionate about acquiring knowledge. Because what you'll find is, the more of a beginner that you are, if you're showing passion and hunger for knowledge from people who are ahead of you, they will look at you like an honest person rather than just pretending like you're an expert. So this is a very important point. Now, number 3, we've got audibly and visually. Now, visually, how are you presenting yourself? Are you walking in a room with your shoulders back? Are you talking in a confident manner? Are you keeping eye contact? Are you using your hands to speak, to put forward the point? Because when you're adding all these things visually, you can add yourself into a character to where people want to listen. You notice that I've picked this up doing it with my hands, right? Because when they're looking at you and they're hearing you, then they've got a higher inclination to listen to what you're saying. So these are things that you can work at all the time. Now, when it comes to talking with your hands, it just shows confidence. You don't have to practice this or rehearse it. You'll just do it naturally. But when you're showing something moving, you've just got to think, right? If you see something moving and you hear it, you look at it, right? So you've got to do this in a way that is attractive to look at. Dress nicer. Are you keeping groomed? Do you look like a respectable person that people should listen to? If your hair's a mess and you've got dirt under your fingernails and you're looking scruffy and you're dressed like shit, then who's going to want to listen to you? You don't even listen to yourself. Your mind all the time is telling you that you need to get clean, you need to dress better, you need to get in shape. But why would people want to listen to you if you can't even listen to your own mind? And audibly, how are you speaking? Are you speaking loud enough? Are you speaking clearly enough? Now, it's all right me just saying, oh, you need to speak louder, you need to speak more clearly. If you're a natural introvert, that might be difficult for you, but this is a skill that you can practice. All of these are skills that you can practice. So how are you speaking? Are you practicing speaking? Another thing is speak louder. Now, I'm not talking about go start shouting at everybody so they listen to you. I'm not talking about that. But when you speak louder, what you'll find is words will just naturally flow to you and you'll be able to practice that over and over and over again. And when you're speaking loudly, but you have knowledge, you're showing interest in others, and you're visually well dressed, and you're using your hand signals, what you're going to find is people want to listen. You're not being offensive with speaking loudly. Now, if I walked into a club, okay, and I was dressed in a full tracksuit, I needed my hair cut, I were out of shape, fat, showed no interest in anybody else, I was talking about subjects I had no knowledge about, and I had no passion, and I was just talking like this. I'm just looking at the floor and my body posture's off. And who wants to listen to that? Nobody. So it's about adding all these in. Now, my friend Jack, what he also used to do was he wouldn't be himself. I could have a very strong opinion that he agrees nothing about. He does not agree with that opinion whatsoever. But what he would do was he would agree with whatever you're saying. Now, you can get away with this for a short amount of time. You can be a people pleaser. You can agree with their points to try and make them like you. But if you're in contact with that person later down the line and you say something or give an opinion that contradicts, then they're going to notice that what you're doing is you're trying to just please them. And it's not that you're directly lying, because sometimes you're just doing it because you've got poor social skills, but people think there's something off when you do that. People think you're not the type of person to stand on your opinions. So you've got to be yourself, and that's regardless of if people like it or not. You are you. Now, if yourself is some guy that goes shouting at everybody, doesn't care about anyone's opinions, shows no interest in anybody, doesn't know anything, then you can be yourself, okay, but you're not going to get very far. So when you add all these in, and then you start being yourself, just have your own opinions. Have your own opinions, yeah? If they ruffle a few feathers, who cares? Because the fact is, when you stand on your opinions most, regardless of what people think, they may not agree with the opinion, but they will like you more for that. They will want to listen more to that because you are being yourself. People respect authenticity more than a people pleaser. A people pleaser, people walk all over them because those people just give in. They give in for their opinions, they give in for their actions, and they give in for other people to walk all over them. Don't be a people pleaser. Be yourself. And when you work on all these things, you'll feel more comfortable being yourself, and you'll want to be yourself. You'll want to be yourself more. Number 5, the last one, right? I'm going to get close to the camera for this. Some people will never listen. Okay? Some people will never listen. Now, what some people do when people don't listen to them, they will maybe shout a bit louder, get more aggressive, get annoyed, get bummed down, or they'll just keep on in contact with those people and just carry on not getting listened to. Well, if they won't listen, then stop talking to them. Okay? If people are not listening to you over and over and over again, you've showed interest in that person, you're knowledgeable about the subject, or it's a massive passion of yours, you're a respectable character that speaks confidently, and you're being yourself. If they don't want to listen to that, stop talking to them. Because what that is going to do is it's going to destroy your confidence. You don't understand why they won't listen to you. But the thing is, some people just won't listen. And this is something that I got stuck on for a long time. I got stuck on this for a very long time. I used to get upset about it. I used to get down about it. But listen, if you don't listen to me, I'll stop talking to you. It's as simple as that. Look, guys, remember, we're trying to make people want to listen. People will only be receptive to your message if they want to listen. Now, hearing and listening are two very different things. But if you follow these steps, people are going to start listening to you. Okay? And if they don't listen to you, stop talking to them. Subscribe to the channel.